Riverside Publishing presents the Woodcock-Johnson 3. A revision of the widely used Woodcock-Johnson Revised, the WJ3 consists of two distinct batteries, the tests of cognitive abilities and the tests of achievement. Created by a renowned team of authors, Drs. Richard W. Woodcock, Kevin S. McGrew, and Nancy Mather, the WJ3 measures general intellectual ability, 7 cognitive factors, oral language, and 4 general areas of achievement.
Our goal was to make the WJ3 a comprehensive, psychometrically excellent diagnostic tool. We wanted to use a research-based theory and to include as much science as was practical. I believe we have created an innovative and sophisticated instrument. In the hands of a skilled examiner, the WJ3 provides a wealth of information that can lead to better program planning, more effective interventions, and more successful outcomes.
The organization of the WJ3 is essentially the same as WJR. The cognitive and achievement batteries each have 2 test books, one called the standard battery and the other called the extended battery. Parallel forms are available for the tests of achievement. The age range is 2 to 95 years, and the grade range is K.0 through 18.0, now including norms for the first year of graduate school. Each test includes the CompuScore and Profiles program, a software program that generates all scores and profiles. There is no manual scoring option for the WJ3. The tests of achievement includes 22 tests. There are 7 new tests and 8 new clusters in the achievement battery. These additions are designed to increase diagnostic capabilities and usefulness at earlier levels of achievement and across the age span of the test. Before administering any test, be sure you have all the necessary materials. Also be sure you know the test administration procedures, including basal ceiling rules. Take time to review the examiner training workbook that came with your test kit. Pages 2 through 4 describe the various types of basal ceiling rules. The reproducible examiner training checklist located on the last 6 pages provides test-by-test guidance on administration points. To get the greatest benefit from this video, we recommend that you have the test materials available.
All of our test development work has been based upon the principle that testing should help you find out more about the problem, not just yield a score. The WJ3 is a comprehensive set of tests that serves as a toolbox. The examiner is the skilled craftsman who picks the tools he or she needs to obtain the needed information.
The letter word identification test measures reading decoding. The task starts with reading isolated letters and then words.
Use the examinee's estimated reading ability to select a starting point. Take a moment to review a few of the key administration points for letter word identification.
What is this word?
Since.
Go ahead with the others, but don't go too fast.
Distance. Usually. Scientist. Bounties.
If the examinee sounds out the word first and then pronounces it as the complete correct word, it is scored as correct. Remember to score the last response given. Let's review the steps in determining a basal and ceiling before going on to the other tests. Turn to Figure 5 on page 6 of the Examiner Training Workbook. Testing began with item 33. Although a basal was not established, we completed the page because items were visible to the examinee. Then we turned back to the previous page and administered items 25 through 32. The 6 lowest numbered items administered were not all correct, so there was still no basal. We administered items 17 through 24. All items were correct, so a basal was established. Testing continued with items 41 through 48. Although 6 consecutive items are incorrect, items 41 through 46, we completed the page. In the process of completing the page, item 48 was correct. Therefore, no ceiling was established. Next, items 49 through 56 were administered. All items were incorrect, so a ceiling was established and testing was discontinued. What would the raw score be on this example? What answer did you get? Did you remember to include credit for all items below the basal? Any items scored as correct in the process of completing a page must be included in the raw score. The correct raw score is 37. If that was not your answer, please review this information to ensure you understand how this score was obtained.
The reading fluency test measures reading speed and rate. The person reads simple sentences and decides whether or not the sentence is true or false.
For all time tests, a stopwatch is preferred. If you are not using a stopwatch, be sure to record the exact starting and stopping times in minutes and seconds. If the examinee has fewer than 3 correct on the practice exercise, you may discontinue testing and record a score of 0.
I want you to read some sentences and decide if the answer is yes or no. Look at this sentence. It says, a cow is an animal. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. Because the answer is yes, you would circle the letter Y. Now look at the second sentence. It says, a fish lives on land. Is that true?
No.
Because the answer is no, you would circle the letter N. Now look at the next 4 sentences. Draw a circle around the correct answer for each sentence. Work as fast as you can without making mistakes. Go ahead. Okay, stop. Read the sentence aloud and tell me if the answer is yes or no.
The moon is in the sky. Well, it's in space.
That's a good answer. Most people would say that it's in the sky.
Okay.
Go ahead with the next one. Start here, read as many sentences as you can, decide if the answer is yes or no. After you get to the bottom, go to the top. There are 3 pages. Keep working until I tell you to stop. Work as fast as you can without making mistakes. If you do make a mistake, cross out the one you do not want. If you have trouble reading a word or cannot think of the answer, skip that one and go on to the next one. You will have 3 minutes. Tell me if you finish before I say stop. Go ahead.
If it appears that the examinee is circling the Y or the N without reading, remind him to read each sentence. Use the scoring overlay to score this test. Record the number correct and the number incorrect within the range of attempted items. Enter both numbers in the software program.
The story recall test is a measure of meaningful memory, language development, and listening comprehension. The task requires listening to stories and then recalling the information presented in the stories.
Begin testing at the appropriate starting point based on the individual's level of oral comprehension.
You are going to hear a story from this tape recorder. First, you'll hear a single beep, then the story will begin. When the story is over, you'll hear a double beep. Then you tell the story back to me.
Julie likes to catch butterflies. Then she lets them go.
Julie likes to catch butterflies. Then she let them go.
Story elements are separated by slashes on the test record. Place a check mark over each element recalled correctly in any order. Elements that are in bold type must be recalled exactly to receive credit. Non-bold elements can be paraphrased.
Mary has a dog. He loves to ride in the car, but he hates to take a bath.
Mary had a dog and she liked to ride in the car, but the dog hates taking a bath.
If you will administer Test 12, Story Recall Delayed, do not tell the examinee that he or she may need to recall stories later. Be sure to record the exact time and date that Test 3, Story Recall, is administered. Test 12 can be administered 30 minutes to 8 days after Test 3. Follow the continuation instructions to determine what stories to administer and when to discontinue testing. Record the points for each story and then the cumulative total for each set of stories. In the software score entry section, record the points for each set of stories administered and score an X if a set was not given. If you do not administer any stories in Test 3, leave all boxes blank and do not enter anything in the software program.
The Understanding Directions test measures listening ability and language development. The person listens to a series of instructions and then follows the instructions by pointing to different items in a picture.
Use the suggested starting points to select the appropriate starting point based on the examinee's level of listening comprehension.
You'll be asked to point to several things in this picture. Listen carefully because you'll hear the directions only once from the tape recorder. Don't point until you hear the word go. Take a few seconds to look over the picture before you're asked to point.
Point to the house. Go.
Good.
Point to the cat. Go. Point to the dog. Go.
Now. Wait till he says go.
Point to the road. Go. Point to what is flying. Go.
Now.
Point to the truck and then the bird. Go. Point to the cow next to the fence. Go.
Examinees must complete all steps in the order specified to receive credit. Items are scored 1 or 0. The continuation instructions indicate which pictures to administer and when to stop testing. Turn to Figure 2 on page 3 of the Examiner Training Workbook to review this procedure. After administering pictures 2 and 3, the cumulative total is 14 points. The continuation instructions indicate that pictures 4 and 5 should be administered when the score is 14 or more. Record the number of points for each set of pictures administered. Enter an X for each set not administered. You must make an entry for each set of pictures. This information will be entered into the software program. If you do not administer this test, please leave all boxes blank and do not enter anything in the software program.
The calculation test measures computational skill. The problems range from easy, basic math skills to more complex, complicated operations.
Select an appropriate starting point based on the examinee's level of computational skills.
I want you to do some math. Begin with number 18 and answer as many problems as you can. If you come to one you do not know how to do, just skip it and try the next one. Go ahead.
Do not point out the operation signs to the examinee. Do not penalize for poorly formed or reversed numerals. However, transposed numbers are scored as incorrect. Complete any queries as noted in the test book.
Math fluency is a time test that involves solving simple addition, subtraction, and multiplication problems.
If you are not using a stopwatch, record exact starting and stopping times. Start testing all examinees at item 1. Stop testing at the 3-minute time limit.
I want you to work some simple arithmetic problems. Start here. When you finish this row, go to the next. And work each problem until you finish this page. Then go to the top of the next page. If you can't think of an answer, skip that item and move to the next one. Work as fast as you can without making mistakes. Be sure to watch the signs. If you do make a mistake, just cross out the answer you do not want. You'll have 3 minutes. Please tell me if you finish before I say stop. Go.
Once testing begins, do not point out signs. Use the scoring overlay provided for easy scoring of this test.
The spelling test measures an individual's ability to spell words correctly from an oral prompt.
Select a starting point based on the examinee's level of spelling skill.
All right, Christina, let's do something new. Watch me. Now you make one just like that here. Good job. Now, watch me. You make it right here. Good job. Watch me. You make it here. Stay right on the road.
I want you to spell some words on this sheet. Please print your answers. Begin with number 20. Number 20, spell the word was. He was happy, was. Number 21, under. Look under the bed, under. Number 22, house. The house is made of bricks, house. Number 23, rain. We were all disappointed when it began to rain. Number 24, table. Our family has a very old table, table. Number 25, when. We were happy when it began to snow, when.
Accept upper or lower case responses unless case is specified. Do not penalize for poor handwriting. Reversed letters are accepted unless they become new letters.
The writing fluency test is a time test. The person is given 7 minutes to write simple sentences as quickly as they can.
Administer the sample items to all examinees. You can discontinue testing if the examinee has 0 on samples B through D. Responses must be reasonable sentences to be scored correct. Sentences are scored 1 or 0. Any word may be read upon request.
I'm going to ask you to write some short sentences about some pictures. Look at this picture and the words good, cake, is. A short sentence that tells about this picture and uses these words is, the cake is good. Now look at this picture and the words pig, fat, is. Use these 3 words and any other words you need to write a short sentence about the picture. You may put the words in any order.
Do not penalize for poor handwriting unless the response is illegible. Do not penalize for spelling, punctuation, or capitalization errors.
Start here and write sentences for each picture and its 3 words. You may use the words in any order, but do not change the words in any way. I will tell you any words you do that you want to know. If you cannot think of an easy sentence to write, skip that one and move on to the next one. When you get to the bottom of the page, go to the top of the next page and keep working until I tell you to stop. Keep your sentences short and work as fast as you can. You'll have 7 minutes. Tell me if you finish before I say stop. Go ahead.
If a critical word is omitted, score the response incorrect.
The passage comprehension test measures an individual's ability to use syntactic and semantic cues when reading.
Remind the examinee to read silently, but do not insist. Do not tell the examinee any words. If the individual reads an item aloud, he or she must identify the word that goes in the blank to receive credit.
Look at this picture. Listen, this says the house is bigger than the. What word belongs in the blank space?
Man.
Correct. Okay, read this to yourself and tell me one word that goes in the blank space.
Round.
Go on.
Band-Aid.
Go on.
Small.
If a two-word or longer answer is provided, ask for a one-word answer.
I don't know.
Applied Problems measures quantitative reasoning, math achievement, and math knowledge. This test requires analyzing the information presented, choosing the relevant facts, and solving the problem.
Select a starting point based on the individual's current level of math achievement.
Okay, you can use this paper and pencil if you need them. Jay's car holds 15 gallons of gas, Anna's car holds 10 gallons of gas, and Ellen's car holds 20 gallons of gas. How many more gallons does Jay's car hold than Anna's car?
5.
Four people each have $6. How much money do they have together?
$24.
If you bought both balls and you had this much money, how much money would you have left?
Give the worksheet and a pencil to the examinee at item 30 as directed, or at any time it appears they need paper and pencil.
40 cents.
Mr. James was on his way home for dinner. He had a flat tire and called home from a payphone in a service station. He had to pay 65 cents for his phone call. Name the fewest coins he could have deposited in order to make his call.
Three.
Writing samples measures written expression and requires the ability to convey ideas in writing. The task requires writing sentences in response to a series of increasingly difficult demands.
Use the suggested starting points table to determine which block of items to administer. Our goal is to administer a block of items that gives a good representation of the examinee's writing ability. We may end up giving more than one block of items, but our score will always be based on a single block. The final score may not include all items administered.
I'm going to ask you to do some writing. Please write or print your answers neatly so that I can read them. Number 13. Write one good sentence that tells what is happening in this picture and what could happen next.
You may read any words that the examinee requests, but do not spell any words. If the individual's handwriting is difficult to read, ask him to write as neatly as possible.
Number 14. The second sentence is missing from this recipe. Write a sentence that will fit.
If it appears that the block of items is too easy or too hard for the examinee, administer the additional items as directed in the test record. This can save time later. All items may be scored 2, 1.5, 1, 0.5, or 0, even if no example is given in the scoring guide. Do not penalize for spelling, punctuation, capitalization, or usage errors unless otherwise noted in the scoring guide.
Number 16. Write one sentence that tells 3 things you would like to do on a vacation. Remember, 3 things.
Score illegible items 0. You may not ask the examinee to read the response for scoring purposes. The rule of thumb is if an adult without knowledge of the item content cannot read the response, it must be scored a 0.
Story recall delayed measures long-term retrieval and requires meaningful memory. The task requires recalling specific details about stories presented 30 minutes to 8 days earlier.
Record the date and time since this information is required to calculate the delay interval. Also, check the stories that were administered in Test 3 Story Recall previously so you are sure to administer the correct stories.
A little earlier, you heard some short stories from the tape recorder. I'm going to read a few words from a story, and you tell me what you remember about the rest of the story. Julie likes to catch butterflies. What do you remember?
Julie likes to catch butterflies.
What else do you remember?
This test is scored the same as Test 3. Be careful not to include the prompts shown in brackets in the score.
Okay, try this one. Mary has a dog.
Mary has a dog.
And what else do you remember? Let's try one more.
The word attack test measures basic reading skills and requires the ability to apply phonic instructional analysis skills. The task requires reading phonically regular nonsense words.
When a letter is presented within slashes, say the sound of the letter, not the name. As with all reading tests, do not tell the examinee any letters or words.
I want you to read some words that are not real words. Tell me how they sound. How does this word sound?
Gnat.
Read this word to me.
Ibe.
Ib. Now you say ib.
Ib.
Good. Read each of these words to me. Don't go too fast.
Tiff. Zoop.
You can remind the examinee to say the words smoothly only once during the test. As with all tests, it is important to record errors for further analysis.
Right. Feep. Gushp. Foy. Snirk. Yosh.
Picture vocabulary measures oral language and requires the abilities of language development and lexical knowledge. The task requires naming pictures that become increasingly difficult. Early items require only a pointing response.
Using an estimate of the examinee's oral language ability, select an appropriate starting point.
This is a picture of a car. Put your finger on the car. Say car.
Car.
Put your finger on the flower. Good job. What is this?
A ball.
Good. What is this?
A bed.
What is this?
A bird.
What is this?
Corn.
What is this?
A watermelon.
What is this?
A zipper.
Be sure to point to the picture or part of the picture as directed. Complete any queries listed in the test book.
It's a grasshopper.
What is this?
A comb.
Doing a great job. What is this?
Whistle.
What is this?
A light.
Tell me another word. That's fine. Let's try this one. What is this?
Ruler.
Oral comprehension is a measure of oral language and requires listening ability. The task requires listening to a short passage and providing the final missing word to complete the passage.
Begin with sample items for all examinees and then select an appropriate starting point.
Now you're going to listen to this audio recording. After you hear the two beeps, tell me one word that finishes the sentence.
Dogs are pets and dolls are
Voice.
If a mother skunk thinks that there is danger to her young, she protects them. She can produce a very unpleasant
Odor.
Blueberries are small and round and sweet. They got this name because their color appears
Blue.
She might have been the first teenager to win had she not tripped. She was heartbroken, but she would have another
Chance.
Editing measures basic writing skills and requires the abilities of language development and English usage. The task requires orally identifying and correcting errors in written passages.
Begin with sample items for all examinees and then select an appropriate starting point.
I'm going to show you some sentences that have mistakes in them. For example, there may be a capital letter where it does not belong, a comma, a period, or a question mark may be missing, a word may be used in the wrong way, or a word may not be spelled correctly. I want you to find the mistake and tell me how to correct it. I want to ride with them. Tell me what needs correcting.
The I should be capitalized.
Any words can be read upon request, but do not read the entire item.
Can you go with me? Tell me what needs correcting.
There should be a question mark at the end of the sentence.
The examinee must identify and correct the error to receive credit. Complete queries as indicated in the test book.
Most of the time you will see 2 sentences, but there will be only 1 mistake. Robert lost his money. He cannot find it. What is the mistake?
Lose should be changed to lost.
Read this to yourself and tell me how to correct the mistake. I will tell you any words you want to know.
The shoes blue. The blue should not be capital.
Try the next one.
Mary should be capitalized.
Reading vocabulary measures reading comprehension skills and requires the abilities of language development and comprehension. There are 3 subtests: synonyms, antonyms, and analogies.
For each subtest, begin with samples and then choose an appropriate starting point.
Another word that means street is road. Tell me another word for large.
Large, big.
Tell me another word for sleep.
Nap.
Read each of these words aloud and tell me another word that means the same.
Puppy, baby, hop, jump.
Tell me another word for puppy.
Cub.
Go ahead.
Hop, jump.
Score only the responses, not the reading of the stimulus words. Do not read any words for the examinee.
Now we're going to do something different. The opposite of night is day. Tell me the opposite of no.
Yes.
Tell me the opposite of right.
Wrong.
Read each of these words aloud and tell me another word that means the opposite.
On, under, king, king, peasant, go, stop, top, bottom, easy, hard, empty, full.
Finish what I say. A dog walks, a bird.
Flies.
Finish what I say. Snow is to cold as sun is to.
Warm.
Read this one aloud and tell me the answer.
He, she, boy, girl.
Read this to yourself and tell me the answer.
TV. Month. Drink. Apply. Church. Receive.
Okay.
Down. Man.
The Basel and ceiling rules apply to each subtest. Calculate the raw score for each subtest. The 3 separate scores are entered into CompuScore. Add them together if obtaining estimated age and grade equivalents.
Quantitative concepts measures math knowledge and quantitative reasoning. The test has 2 subtests, concepts and number series. The task requires applying mathematical concepts and analyzing numerical relationships.
For the concept subtest, the Basel rule is 4 lowest correct and the ceiling rule is 4 highest incorrect. Test by complete pages.
What day of the week is the 17th?
Monday.
What is the date of the first Tuesday of this month?
The 4th.
What does the red sign mean?
Divided by.
What does a decimal point look like?
A period.
What does this abbreviation mean?
Ounces.
For each problem, tell me the number that goes in the blank space. Some of the problems may be easy, but others may be hard. Just do the best you can. You may use this paper and pencil.
For the number series subtest, the Basel is 3 lowest correct and the ceiling is 3 highest incorrect. Each item in this subtest has a 1-minute time limit.
2. 14. 10.
Academic knowledge is a measure of general information. The task requires answering oral questions in 3 content areas: science, social studies, and humanities.
Consult the suggested starting points to determine where to begin testing for each subtest.
Point to your eye. Good. Point to your nose. Look at the pictures. Put your finger on the dog. Point to your knee. What are these?
Fish.
Look at these pictures. Point to the banana. What kind of animal is this?
A kangaroo.
What is happening here? What's happening? Listen, try this one. Point to your wrist. Point to your wrist. Good job. What do we call the loud noise we hear after a flash of lightning? Look at these pictures. Put your finger on the hat. Good. Look at these pictures. Put your finger on the bed. What is this?
A TV.
What is this?
A bicycle.
Good job. Look at these pictures. Put your finger on the comb.
The Basel and ceiling rules apply to each subtest. You can repeat items if requested. Be sure you know the correct pronunciation of each item.
Look at these pictures. Put your finger on the scissors. Sorry. What are these?
Colors.
Look at these colors. Put your finger on green. Look at these pictures. Put your finger on the drum. What color is this box?
Brown.
Giving good answers.
The spelling is sound test measures the ability to spell non-words that conform to English spelling rules.
Please note that the answers listed in the test book are the only acceptable responses. They represent the most common English spelling for the words presented.
I'm going to ask you to spell some words that are not real words. They are nonsense words. Nonsense words may sound like bip, ost, or mib. Try to spell a nonsense word the way you think it would be spelled if it were a real word. Listen carefully. I will say the nonsense word twice and then you write it. Ut, ut. Ab, ab. Now you will hear the nonsense words from these headphones. After you hear the word twice, you will hear 2 beeps. Then I want you to spell the word. Begin with number 6. Ready?
Mm-hmm. Gat, gat. Ift, ift.
If more time is needed, pause the recording. If requested, items may be repeated. Items 6 through 12 are multi-point items. The number of points is indicated in the test book and test record. A point is awarded for each correctly written and sequenced letter or group of letters. On item 6, GAT, 3 points are possible, 1 for each letter. If the examinee writes gate, the E spoils the spelling of the short A sound, so a point is deducted. The score would be 2. On item 7, IFT, again 3 points are possible. Notice that there are 2 correct responses, IFT and IFFED. If the examinee wrote EFT, a point would be deducted for the misspelling of the first sound, resulting in a score of 2.
The spelling is sound test provides a window into both phonology and orthography. One thing you'll note in terms of scoring this test is that the spellings that are accepted have to conform to the most common English spelling pattern. For example, if I ask you to spell the non-word lich, you would respond L-I-T-C-H. You would understand that in a one-syllable word with a short vowel sound that you need to put the T in terms of the spelling. Now you'll see in the Kia spelling L-I-C-H is incorrect. It's a good sound spelling, but it doesn't conform to the most common English spelling rules. The sound awareness test is a measure of phonemic awareness. There are 4 subtests: rhyming, deletion, substitution, and reversal.
Administer the samples to all examinees and then proceed to item 1 for each subtest.
Look at these pictures. Cat, sun, hat. Cat and hat end alike. Sun does not end like cat or hat. Look at these pictures. Moon, dog, spoon. Point to the 2 that end alike or rhyme. These 2 pictures, moon and spoon, end alike or they rhyme. Now you point to the 2 that end alike or rhyme. Good job. Look at eye, pie, sock. Show me the 2 that end alike or rhyme. Good. Now we're going to do something different. Use this picture to finish what I say with a word that rhymes. I looked over the wall and there was a
ball.
Good job. Listen, finish what I say. In my big house, I saw a little
ball.
But a word that rhymes with house is mouse. Now you try it. In my big house, I saw a little
mouse.
Good job. Finish what I say with another word that ends alike or rhymes. Come and see. It is a
responses must be real words that rhyme with the target.
You could say, come and see, it is a bee. Or come and see, it is a tree. Now you try it again. Come and see, it is a
tree.
Good job. I'm going to say a word and leave off one part. If I say football without saying ball, it would be foot. Now you try one. Say fireman without saying fire. Fireman without fire is man. Try it again. Say fireman without saying fire.
Fireman.
But say it without saying fire.
Man.
Perfect. Good job. Now you're going to hear the words from this tape recorder. After you hear the double beep, you tell me your answer.
Say cowboy without saying boy.
Cow.
Good job. Now try these.
Say raincoat without saying rain.
Cow.
Good.
Say airplane without air.
Play.
Say swimmer without
I can change one part of a word and make a new word. If I say rainy and then change rain to sun, the new word would be sunny.
Funny.
Yes. If I say jumped and then change jump to hop, the new word would be hopped. Now you try some. If I say penny and then change pen to sun, the new word would be
sunny.
Good job. If I say taller and then change tall to small, the new word would be
smaller.
Good thinking. If I say running and then change run to swim, it would be what? Let's try the next one. If I say sunny and change sun to fun, what would it be? Let's try one more. If I say planted and change plant to paint, it would be... I am going to say two words and then say them backward. If I say dog, hot, it would be hot dog.
Hot dog.
If I say base, ball, it would be ball base. Now you try some. Say corn pop backwards.
Popcorn.
Good job. Now try these. Drop, rain.
Raindrop.
Good. Cake, cup.
Cupcake.
Good job. Kick, ball.
Calculate the raw score for each of the 4 subtests. If obtaining estimated age and grade equivalents for this test or any other test with subtests, add the subtest scores together.
Punctuation and capitalization measures English usage. The task requires using correct punctuation and capitalization in words and phrases dictated orally.
Spelling errors are not penalized unless the response is illegible.
I want you to put your answers to some questions on this sheet. Please print your answers. Begin with number 7. Number 7, look at the 2 letters. The first letter is a capital or big A. The next letter is a capital or big W. Print a capital G. G. Number 8, make a question mark. Number 9, look at the 2 letters. The first letter is a lowercase or small p. The next letter is a lowercase or small h. Print a lowercase j. J. Number 10, make an exclamation mark. Number 11, Using numerals, print the time, 1:30 a.m. Number 12. This says, "Not yet," he shouted. Place quotation marks where they are needed.
Once you have administered the tests, you calculate the raw scores for each test or subtest. Then, if desired, you can obtain estimated age and grade equivalents by consulting the scoring tables in the test record. All other scores are generated by the test software program. The next step in scoring the WJ3 is to enter all the raw scores into the software program. First, enter the identifying information and then the raw scores. If you have used the test session observations checklist, enter that information as well. Please note that the test session observation checklist is located on the front cover of each test record. This provides a systematic way for you to collect observational data and to integrate it into your report. Observational information is a critical element of every evaluation. The test session observations checklist facilitates the collection of this important information. Be sure to answer the 2 questions at the bottom of the test record. Do you have any reason to believe this testing session may not represent a fair sample of the subject's abilities? And were any modifications made to the standardized test procedures during this administration? This information is required by the new standards for educational and psychological testing.
One important element of interpretation is to recognize the purposes, uses, and limitations of the various discrepancy procedures. 2 basic types of discrepancy procedures are available on the WJ3. Intra-ability discrepancies, discrepancies among abilities, and ability achievement discrepancies between a predictor score and measured academic performance. The purposes of these discrepancy procedures differ. The purpose of the intra-ability discrepancies is to diagnose specific disorders. The purpose of the ability achievement discrepancies is to predict present performance levels. The WJ3 provides 3 types of intra-ability discrepancies: intracognitive within the cognitive factors, intra-achievement within the achievement clusters, and intra-individual across the cognitive and achievement battery. These types of discrepancies are useful for documenting strengths and weaknesses among abilities, identifying domain-specific disabilities, such as a specific reading disability, promoting early intervention, and identifying instructional needs. The purpose of the ability achievement discrepancies is to predict performance in the present, not to predict potential for future success. The WJ3 provides 3 options for calculating ability achievement discrepancies: the General Intellectual Ability Score, Standard, or the General Intellectual Ability Extended, Predicted Achievement, and the Oral Language Extended Cluster. Ability achievement discrepancies should not be used as the sole criteria for determining eligibility for services, as they provide little information about an individual's strengths and weaknesses. The 2 types of discrepancy options on the WJ3 are based upon the belief that the diagnosis of learning disabilities should be multidimensional in nature, not based upon the findings from one discrepancy procedure or one definitive score.
The fact that the WJ3 provides a co-normed set of cognitive and achievement tests allowed us to obtain discrepancy scores for each individual in the norming sample and then provide actual discrepancy norms. This means it is not necessary for examiners to estimate the amount of regression by using a regression equation or table based on such an equation.